Listen closely. Venus stands in direct opposition to Pluto today, creating one of the most intense and transformative astrological events of the year. This cosmic confrontation between the planet of love and the Lord of transformation is forcing everything hidden in your relationships, values, and deepest desires to surface with unprecedented intensity. Venus in Leo faces off against Pluto in Aquarius, creating a celestial battlefield where your personal heart desires clash with collective truths. This is not a gentle cosmic nudge. This is a full-scale energetic revolution that will expose the power dynamics in your relationships and force you to confront what you truly value versus what you think you should value. The opposition occurs when Venus in the fixed fire sign of Leo, demanding recognition, celebration, and royal treatment in love, directly confronts Pluto in the fixed air sign of Aquarius, which cares nothing for individual desires and everything about exposing systemic truths. Your need to be special, to be chosen, to be the center of someone's universe is being challenged by revelations about the groups you belong to, the friendships you maintain, and the social structures you participate in. This cosmic tension creates what astrologers call a transformation portal, where the comfortable lies we tell ourselves about our relationships can no longer survive. Venus wants to be adored, Pluto demands truth. Venus seeks pleasure and harmony, Pluto reveals the shadow and the power games. The result is an internal pressure so intense it forces a complete metamorphosis of how you approach love, money, values, and personal power. The energy is building to a crescendo right now, and you are likely feeling it in your body, in your relationships, and in your deepest emotional responses. This is not a transit you can ignore or minimize. It is demanding your full participation in a process of psychological and emotional alchemy. Take a moment right now and share in the comments below your zodiac sign and one area where you are feeling this intense Venus-Pluto energy the most. Are you experiencing revelations about a relationship, feeling obsessive thoughts about someone, or discovering hidden power dynamics in your social circle? Your experience matters and helps others understand how this powerful transit is manifesting across all the signs. The first thing you need to understand about this opposition is that it operates like a cosmic pressure cooker. The energy builds and builds until something has to give way. In your personal life, this manifests as an intensification of everything related to Venus: love, attraction, money, values, creativity, and pleasure. But this intensification is not the gentle, harmonious Venus energy you might be familiar with. This is Venus under extreme pressure from Pluto, which means your desires become obsessions, your attractions become compulsions, and your need for love becomes a desperate hunger that can consume rational thought. If you have been feeling like your emotions are turned up to maximum volume, you are experiencing the first wave of this opposition. Love does not feel like a gentle, warm glow. It feels like a fire that could either warm you or burn down everything you have built. Anger does not feel like mild irritation. It feels like molten lava rising from the core of your being. Desire does not feel like a sweet longing. It feels like a force that could drive you to actions you never thought you were capable of. This emotional amplification is not a sign that you are losing your mind or becoming unstable. It is the natural result of Pluto's transformative power touching the sensitive areas of your life that Venus rules. Pluto takes whatever it touches and strips away all the superficial layers until only the raw truth remains. When it touches your Venus, it strips away all the polite social conditioning around love and reveals the primal, powerful, sometimes uncomfortable truth about what you really want and need. The second major manifestation of this opposition is the exposure of power dynamics in your relationships that you may have been unconsciously participating in for months or even years. Pluto in Aquarius is particularly focused on revealing the hidden power structures within groups, friendships, and social networks. Combined with Venus in Leo's need for special treatment and recognition, this creates a spotlight that illuminates exactly how power, control, manipulation, and emotional currency flow between you and the people in your life. You might suddenly realize that a friendship you valued was actually based on one person having power over the other through information, resources, or emotional manipulation. You might discover that a romantic relationship you thought was based on mutual love actually has an undercurrent of control, jealousy, or possessiveness that makes genuine intimacy impossible. You might recognize that you yourself have been using charm, sexuality, or emotional drama as tools to get what you want rather than asking for it directly. These revelations are uncomfortable because they shatter the stories we tell ourselves about our relationships. Venus in Leo wants to believe in the fairy tale, the grand romance, the special connection that makes us feel chosen and important. Pluto in Aquarius shows us the mechanical, sometimes cold reality of how relationships actually function when stripped of their romantic packaging. But here is what you need to understand. This exposure is not happening to hurt you or to destroy your capacity for love. It is happening to free you from participating in relationships that are based on power imbalances rather than genuine mutual respect and affection. The discomfort you feel when these dynamics are revealed is your soul's way of saying this is not aligned with who you are becoming. The third way this opposition manifests is through the emergence of secrets. Pluto rules everything that is hidden, buried, or kept in the shadow. Venus rules our relationships and values. When these two planets face off, secrets related to love, money, relationships, and personal values are forced into the light. This can happen in two directions. First, you may discover secrets that other people have been keeping from you. Information about a partner's past, a friend's true feelings, or hidden financial situations may suddenly be revealed. These revelations often completely change your understanding of a relationship or situation. What you thought was solid ground turns out to have been built on quicksand. Second, and often more challenging, your own secrets may feel an almost irresistible urge to be expressed. Desires you have never admitted to anyone, feelings you have kept carefully hidden, or aspects of your personality that you have suppressed may demand to be acknowledged. You might find yourself confessing something you swore you would never tell anyone, or acting in a way that reveals parts of yourself you have kept private. This compulsion toward radical honesty is Pluto's gift, even though it feels terrifying. The energy of this opposition is saying that what lives in the shadows can no longer coexist with your authentic self. The truth, whatever it is, needs to be integrated into your conscious awareness so you can make choices based on reality rather than illusion. The fourth manifestation, and perhaps the most dangerous if not handled consciously, is obsessive fixation. Venus represents our desires and attractions. Pluto represents focused, relentless, transformative power. When these energies combine, they can create an almost manic fixation on a particular person, outcome, or desire. Your mind may become stuck in loops, replaying conversations, analyzing every gesture, trying to decode hidden meanings, or attempting to control situations that are completely outside your influence. You might find yourself checking someone's social media obsessively, driving by their house, or making decisions based entirely on trying to get their attention or approval. This obsessive energy feels powerful, and in some ways it is, but it is power that is being misdirected. Instead of using Pluto's transformative force to change and strengthen yourself, you are trying to use it to control external circumstances or other people. This never works and always leads to more frustration and emotional pain. The key to working with this opposition constructively is understanding that the intensity you are feeling is not meant to be directed outward toward controlling others, or forcing outcomes. It is meant to be directed inward toward transforming yourself. The person or situation you are obsessing about is simply the catalyst that is revealing where your personal power has been leaking out through attachment, neediness, or attempts to control what does not belong to you. Now that you understand what you are experiencing and why, let us talk about how to work with this energy consciously rather than being overwhelmed by it. The goal is not to suppress or avoid the intensity, but to channel it in a way that serves your growth and transformation, rather than keeping you stuck in cycles of emotional reactivity. The first step is developing what I call the witness consciousness. When you are in the grip of intense emotions, jealousy, obsession, anger, fear of loss, your first instinct is usually either to act on those emotions immediately or to try to push them away because they are uncomfortable. Both of these responses keep you trapped in the emotional cycle. Instead, when you feel the wave of intensity rising, your first task is to step back and observe it as if you were a scientist studying an interesting phenomenon. Notice where the emotion lives in your body. Is it a burning sensation in your chest, a tightness in your throat, a churning in your stomach? Notice the thoughts that accompany the emotion. Are you replaying a conversation, imagining future scenarios, trying to figure out what someone else is thinking? Most importantly, practice separating your identity from the emotion. Instead of thinking I am jealous or I am obsessed, practice thinking I am experiencing jealousy or I notice obsessive thoughts arising. This subtle shift in language creates space between you, the observer, and the emotional experience being observed. This space is where your power lives. From this place of witness consciousness, you can begin to see the emotion as information rather than instruction. Jealousy, for example, is not telling you to act possessively or to try to control someone else's behavior. It is telling you that you are afraid of losing something you value, which points to an area where you may be giving your power away to external circumstances. Obsessive thinking is not telling you to keep analyzing and trying to control a situation. It is telling you that you are trying to use mental energy to solve what is actually an emotional or spiritual issue. The obsession is a sign that you are attempting to control something that is not yours to control. Once you have created space through witness consciousness, the next step is what I call the sovereign cut. This is a conscious decision to withdraw your energy from dynamics, relationships, or situations that are draining your life force without giving you anything valuable in return. Look at the relationships and situations in your life that are causing you the most emotional turbulence right now. Ask yourself honestly, is this dynamic feeding my growth and well-being? Or is it keeping me stuck in patterns of reactivity, neediness, or attempts to control others? Be brutally honest about what you are getting from the situation versus what it is costing you energetically. For any dynamic that is costing you more than it is giving you, you need to make a clear decision to withdraw your energy. This does not necessarily mean ending relationships or making dramatic external changes, although sometimes it does. More often, it means changing your internal relationship to the situation. If you are obsessing about someone who is not giving you the attention you want, the sovereign cut means deciding to stop feeding that obsession with your mental and emotional energy. If you are participating in a friendship that is based on drama and manipulation, the sovereign cut means deciding to stop engaging with the drama even if you maintain the friendship. This is an act of reclaiming your sovereignty. You are declaring that your energy, your attention, and your emotional investment are valuable resources that you will no longer spend on dynamics that do not serve your highest good. The final step, and the most important for long-term transformation, is redirecting the powerful energy that was previously caught up in obsession, attachment, or power games towards something that serves your growth and creative expression. Pluto's energy is nuclear energy. It cannot be destroyed, only redirected. If you simply cut off the unhealthy dynamic without giving that energy a new job, it will find another person or situation to obsess about. Ask yourself, if I were not spending all this mental and emotional energy thinking about this person or situation, what would I do with it instead? The answer to this question is your soul project. It might be a creative endeavor you have been putting off, a business idea you have been afraid to pursue, a fitness goal you have been avoiding, or a spiritual practice you have been meaning to develop. Take the raw intensity you have been feeling and consciously channel it toward this constructive goal. Use the energy that was driving your obsession to fuel your creative work. Use the passion that was making you jealous to fuel your commitment to your own growth. Use the anger that was making you want to control others to fuel your determination to build something meaningful in your own life. This redirection transforms the entire experience. Instead of feeling like a victim of intense emotions you cannot control, you become an alchemist who is consciously using those emotions as fuel for transformation. The very intensity that felt overwhelming becomes the power source for your evolution. Working with Venus opposite Pluto in this conscious way changes you at a fundamental level. You develop what astrologers call integrated Pluto energy, which means you have learned to work with power, intensity, and transformation as allies rather than forces that overwhelm you. You no longer fear your own emotional depths because you know how to navigate them consciously. Your relationship with love and desire also evolves. Instead of seeking love from a place of neediness or trying to use love to gain power over others, you begin to approach relationships from a place of wholeness. You become attractive to healthier relationship dynamics because you are no longer willing to participate in power games or emotional manipulation. This transformation ripples out into every area of your life. Your relationship with money and resources becomes more conscious and empowered. Your creative expression becomes more authentic and powerful. Your sense of personal value becomes internally generated rather than dependent on external validation. The intensity of this opposition is temporary, but the transformation it catalyzes is permanent. You cannot unknow what you have learned about yourself and your patterns. You cannot unfeel the power of consciously directing your emotional energy toward growth rather than attachment. As this cosmic event reaches its peak and then begins to fade, you will find yourself fundamentally changed, not broken and rebuilt, but refined and strengthened. Like metal that has been tempered in fire, you emerge from this process more resilient, more authentic, and more powerful than you were before. The relationships that survive this transit will be stronger because they are based on truth rather than illusion. The relationships that do not survive needed to end so that you could make space for connections that truly honor who you are becoming. Either way, you win. Your capacity to love becomes deeper and more genuine because it is no longer mixed with fear, neediness, or attempts to control. Your personal power becomes unshakable because it is based on self-knowledge and conscious choice rather than reaction and attachment. This is the gift of Venus opposite Pluto. It strips away everything that is not authentic so that what remains is pure, powerful, and truly yours. The intensity you are feeling right now is not punishment, it is initiation. You are being initiated into a deeper level of emotional and spiritual maturity. Trust the process, even when it feels overwhelming. Use the tools of witness consciousness, sovereign cutting, and energy redirection to work with the intensity rather than being consumed by it. Remember that transformation always feels uncomfortable while it is happening, but the result is always worth the temporary discomfort. You are not just surviving this cosmic event, you are being reborn through it. The person you are becoming is stronger, wiser, and more authentically powerful than the person you were before this opposition began. Step fully into that transformation and claim the gifts it is offering you.